Welcome. This is a video in which I'm going to talk about 5 essential basics, I've called them, which I think everyone needs to ensure that they're aware of or doing in order to get the most out of their time when they're training for strength or to build muscle. I'm not an expert and have no formal strength and conditioning qualifications. However, I do have experience and I'd like to take the opportunity to share some of that in case it helps anyone get more out of their training earlier in their life. Let me talk a little bit about what experience I have. So 2002 to 2004, this is when I was at school, so I would have been in year 12 to year 13, sixth form. And I got a membership to a local gym called Total Fitness and used to go with a couple of friends, and we did an array of things. We mostly worked upper body, things like the bench press, arms, rarely worked the legs, maybe did the odd leg press. Didn't really have a plan. Some of what we did was effective, definitely put on a little bit of weight, definitely gained some strength, but this was just a sort of introductory, go to the gym, make it up as you go along. It really wasn't focused at all. It wasn't until 2005 when I joined Oxford Uni that there was a powerlifting club, and I started training with someone who was a UK GB powerlifter. He ran a club, and the university had a powerlifting room off the main gym, which had a couple of power racks, barbells, a lifting platform. And he was the person to sort of introduce me to the world of strength training properly. So before this, I'd never seen anyone lift particularly heavy weights. Perhaps in the local gym, I'd have seen someone bench press 100 kilos, 120 kilos. Anyway, I joined the powerlifting club, went to the first few sessions, learned about the 3 lifts. So powerlifting, by the way, is a sport in which you do the bench press, the squat and the deadlift for maximum weight. So I learned the lifts, and over the course of the first few weeks, I saw other members of the club lift weights I'd never seen anyone lift before. So things like bench pressing 200 kilograms, squatting 250, deadlifting 300. These are all things that I'd not seen in person before. So I decided, okay, let's give this a go. Let's train properly and see what I can do. So this was in the first year of university. I probably went to university and I would probably have been at a body weight of 88 kilograms. By the end of the first year, which is the main year in which I trained with the powerlifting club, I'd gone up to 93 kilograms. And just to give you some idea, in the 3 lifts, I would have got to about 110, 165-ish, and about 200 kilogram. And we're talking 1 rep maxes. So maximum weight for 1 rep. Now, later in the university, I sort of fell out of the way of training, and the powerlifting club actually closed down. It wasn't until after university, a few years later, in 2011, when I'd started work as a teacher, that I bought a barbell and a squat rack and put it in the school gym and started training properly again. Again, by this time, I'd dropped probably to perhaps 87 kilograms. But then over the course of a couple of years, went back up, probably to about 92. And because it was my second period training, I managed to get back up to beat my previous PRs. So my bench press got up to about 115. The squat, I managed 190, and the deadlift got to 220 in that second period of training. Now, I'll create another video actually where I talk about how I organise my training and why I like to base my training around these 3 lifts. The purpose of this is just to give you some idea of what I've done in the past. We arrive at 2020. I've just, because of the COVID-19 experience, brought a power rack and have it in school so I can train regularly 4 or 5 times a week. And between the end of March and today, which is the beginning of June, I've started training based around these 3 lifts and also the overhead press as an extra core lift once again. I'm now intending to take a extended period and see how strong I can get again with focused training. Only this time, unlike in previous training cycles or training periods, this time I'm not drinking any alcohol. I'm actually recording what I eat, and because I'm following the 5 steps or doing the 5 things that I'm going to outline in this video, I'm also going to start thinking more about supplementation a little bit, which I will discuss later on. So let's continue to see what the 5 essential basics are. Just one thing before I continue. What this is not, and what none of these videos will be, is a tutorial guide into the mechanics of lifting weights and doing the lifts. I might, in due course, show video analysis of my own lifts. If you want to know about the technical aspects of lifting and the lifts, there's plenty of stuff on YouTube. I'm going to list some YouTube channels later on. This is not the output of an expert, in inverted commas. I've not got any formal qualifications, but I do have some experience, and that is worth something. There's no perfect order to list these 5 basics, and some of them you'll see link to each other. A lot of the time when I go to a commercial gym or watch people in the gym, they spend more time walking around the gym, deciding what exercise to do, or looking in the mirror, or drinking water from the fountain, than actually lifting. And when they do lift, they don't lift and challenge themselves enough. They think, okay, my program or a program I came across online says that I should do 3 sets of 10 with a particular weight. So they proceed to do the 3 sets of 10. But even if they find that easy or straightforward, they've not really broken a sweat or found challenged their body in a particular way. If you're ever thinking, what should I do next? And look around the gym and decide what exercises you want to do on the fly, that means you don't have a plan, which is I'm going to talk about later, and it's just a waste of time. Also, rest periods. I'm not joking. I now have a stopwatch, so I can ensure that if I want a 1-minute 30 rest between sets, I get one. If I want a 3-minute rest or a 5-minute rest, depending on the level of intensity, the amount of weight I'm lifting, how many reps I'm doing, I can actually hit my rest periods and ensure I'm getting the correct rest period and not procrastinating. Okay, so effort level is number 1. Do not bother going to the gym, at least if you want to get reasonable results in a reasonable amount of time, if you're not willing to actually apply yourself. Am I doing more in this workout than I did in my previous workout? Be that an increased load or an increased volume. It doesn't mean that you have to always progress workout by workout. Often you'll come across programming which has you make progress and then drop in one area while perhaps increasing the weight. So you get this wave effect, okay? Now, there are 2 terms I'd like to define. One is intensity, which to a powerlifter or a strength athlete would be related to what percentage of a training max, let's just write a 1 rep max, you're using. So if I was training in the 90% range, I might be doing 95% 1 rep max for doubles or triples. That would be high intensity. Low intensity would be using a 50% of your 1 rep max for perhaps more repetitions, 15 to 20. Volume is to do with the total tonnage you're doing. So for instance, if you did 5 lots of 5 reps at 60% of your 1 rep max, that will be a lower volume than if you did 6 sets of 10 with 60% of your 1 rep max. Okay, so volume's to do with total weight lifted, if you like. So it's a product of both weight and number of sets and reps. So these are 2 ways you can think of developing progression. Now, an idea, in my mind, you want to think about both of these when you're planning what you're going to do. Which brings me on to the next point, having a plan. I know what I'm going to do in each workout for the next week. I've already planned my next 4 workouts from tomorrow, the 4th of June, onwards. And I actually know how many reps I'm going to do at every weight, or at least how many reps I'm going to aim for at every weight for every exercise. And I know where I'm headed on a week by week and month by month basis. I'm following a particular program that I've modified myself based on what I think works for me, and that will be continuing till the end of the year. So I have a short-term plan, next 4 workouts, medium-term plan, I know sort of where I'm headed over the next few weeks, and I have some idea of where I'll be in December. Whether I reach those targets is another matter. I'd like to talk about the rep target method quickly. This is quite a nice one I came across recently, and it ensures that you make progression and that you're challenging yourself appropriately. Let me come back to the imaginary online workout, which had you doing 3 sets of 10. Let's choose the barbell row. And let's say the workout online says, let's do 3 sets of 50 kilos. You'll notice that I make reference to barbell exercises quite a lot because I train with a barbell quite often. You can apply this to any exercise, right? Bodyweight exercises with added difficulty or added weight, or using machines or dumbbells. So let's say you've got in mind, I'm going to do 3 sets of 10 at 50 kilograms, and you do those. And okay, you might complete them. You might even find the 3rd set fairly difficult, but get 10 out. What I've been doing recently, instead of prescribing myself 3 sets of 10, I've been thinking, well, I'll do 3 sets and I'll aim for a total number of reps of 25. Then what I do is I load some weight on the bar. So let's take the 50 kilograms and I do 1 set, and I do as many reps as I can until I think, okay, within a rep or 2, I'm going to fail. So I'm pushing myself. Okay, I'm not just stopping at 10 arbitrarily, I'm going to push myself. So say I get 13. What I then do is have, if I'm using a relatively low weight, which I am, if I'm doing 13 reps, I'd probably take a 1 minute 30 rest. And then do another set, using the same idea that I'm going to push until I'm 1 or 2 reps off failure or breaking form. I might do 9. Now the total there, 13 plus 9, so far I've got up to 22. Which means, okay, I'm well on the way to 25 reps. So I'll take another 130 rest. Now it's likely, the 3rd time round, I might get slightly less. I might be able to push it and get to 8, okay, before I start to feel my form break down. That would take me to 30. So what that would tell you would be, okay, I've eclipsed my 25 reps. Therefore, next workout, next time I do a barbell row, I'm going to put 52.5 on the bar and do the same thing. 3 sets of 25 reps. If I don't get the 25 reps, for instance, say I got, instead of 13, 9 and 8, I got, so let's rub this out, 13, 9 and 8, say I got, first set I got 6, then 5, then 3, the total there would be 14. So then next workout, I'd stick to 50 kilograms. So this method, this rep target method, rather than following 3 times 10 arbitrarily, means that you are exerting effort, you're pushing yourself every set, and it ensures progression because you've planned that as soon as you can do 25 reps at a particular weight, you jump up. Now, of course, you could, if you wanted to do a heavier weight, so higher intensity, you could do a 3 sets with a 15 rep target. Okay, so that would automatically mean that you're using a heavier weight and hence perhaps focusing in the strength range rather than the hypertrophy or endurance range. That's detail that we can talk about some other time. But that's a really useful method I've been using recently to ensure progression. Record keeping. This is a screenshot of my training log. you'll notice that this is, if I can see this is April, that's May, or part of May, and this is June. You see, these are the 4 workouts that I've got planned. I've done one of them already, but the 3 workouts I've got for the remainder of this week. This is an old screenshot. I know ahead of time, i.e. I have a plan, what sets, reps, exercises, weights I'm going to be attempting, and I write down what I've done afterwards. In fact, I use my phone to update and look at my log on the fly as I'm working out. I even write the rest periods in here. The green highlighted cells are rep records, and I've actually got a few tabs down here. I've got one for shopping, which relates to what I eat, and then that's just my training log, and then 531, that's just the name of the overarching program that I've decided to base my training on for the time being. So as you can see, record keeping again allows you to keep a track and plan for progression, and ensures that you have a plan. You need to do it if you're serious about making progress. This is a big one, primarily because if you want to build muscle, which you are going to do if you want to gain strength, muscle is made out of atoms, and the only way you can gain more muscle is if you put enough matter into your body to provide that material. Now, working out is one aspect of training. You go to the gym, you go for a run, go for a swim, whatever. Your body needs to recover, repair, and grow after that. So what you need to do really is take enough food that you can operate normally, do all the things that a body does on a daily basis. You need to be able to recover after a workout, replenish glycogen stores in your muscles. You want to repair the damage that you've done to the fibers that you've got, and then you want to grow on top of that. So this is why it's important, particularly if you're quite lean already, to think about eating a surplus number of calories. Now, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just going to give you an outline of how I approach this area. Online, you will find calculators called recommended daily energy expenditure calculators. Okay, so they're meant to calculate roughly, or give you a baseline figure, given your gender, height and weight and activity level, how many calories you should consume to maintain your current weight. Now, let me tell you what my stats are roughly. So I'm about 182 centimeters tall, I'm about 90.5 kilograms in mass, and I'm male. And I would say my activity level's moderate. Okay, I work out at least 4 times a week and do cardio 1 or 2 days a week. If I put my information, including my age, 34, into one of these calculators, it gives me 2751. So let's go to 2 sig fig, 2,800 calories, kilocalories per day. Now, that would be for me to maintain my current weight. Now, because I'm aiming to gain size, muscle, and of course I'm going to gain some fat as well, and gain strength, I usually add about 300 onto that, just arbitrarily. That brings me to 3,100 kilocalories per day. One of the things I've done since the end of March is use an app called MyFitnessPal. And it's on the iPhone and probably also on Android. And I've recorded every day everything I put into my body. You can scan food items you've bought, or you can search online manually in the app. I do not try to hit 3,100 calories precisely every day. What I try to do is ensure that I at least hit that number. I often surpass it because I like eating, and I do not mind putting on a little bit of extra weight. That doesn't worry me. So, as well as ensuring I'm getting 3,100 kilocalories a day at least, I make sure I'm getting enough protein, which will bring me on to macros. It's worth pointing out first, though, that this addition this 300 calorie addition, and for that matter, this calculation, are estimates. So the reason I track my weight, and I actually track my body fat percentage as well, is to see what effect my nutrition plan is having on my weight. So obviously, if I'm not putting weight on, I'd have to increase this number and therefore increase the target that I'm trying to hit, minimum. So you need to track your statistics if you want to see what effect your intake is having. So macros. Macros is a term that refers to the percentage of your calories you're getting from each source: carbs, protein and fat. Now, I have this split set up in MyFitnessPal. I don't, again, hit it all the time. That's what I'm aiming for. It's a fairly high protein percentage, but I'm training hard. I don't want to cut myself short. So 30%, that gives me roughly, with 3,100 calories, 232 grams per day, which I'm trying to get. This number is quite high. And actually, I choose to supplement my diet with protein powder for the sake of comfort and convenience. Believe it or not, even 232 grams per day is quite a lot if you're trying to eat it in meat and eggs and dairy. I mean, if you're a vegetarian, you'd have to eat a considerable amount of pulses and beans. Wouldn't be impossible, but it would be difficult. So protein intake's definitely important. If you're interested, I actually use two types of protein. I use whey protein and something called casein. These are two things I'll say more about later on, because I'm going to talk about supplements in a separate slide. For a young person who is perhaps 70 kilograms in body weight, perhaps between 70 and 80, say they're 18, if you were to type their statistics into this recommended daily energy expenditure calculator, you would find that they'd probably have a slightly lower required calorie intake to maintain their weight. It's not as low as you'd expect, because when you're young, you use a lot more calories just living. But the reduced body weight certainly means you would not need as many calories. And further, since the recommendation is 1.6 to 2.2 absolute max grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, a 70 kilogram, 75 kilogram person is not going to require as much protein as a 90 kilogram person. So therefore, they're more likely to be able to get the protein they require from their food. So protein powder is useful, but not necessary, and becomes a waste of money if you're simply taking it and it takes you over the protein that you actually need. Fully understanding that growth does not occur in the gym is a big one, particularly if you like training and want to go to the gym every day. Ultimately, you need to give yourself a chance to recover. What happens in the gym is you break yourself down and beat your muscles up. You don't grow. Growth occurs once you come home and start eating and resting and sleeping. Sleeping's something that I don't get 100% right. I go to bed far too late, probably, and then get up a little bit earlier than I'd like. So that's something that I've always struggled with. Having off days, I've got more into having at least a day off between workouts. If the workouts are hard enough and you're applying yourself effort-wise as you should be, then you'll be wanting an off day. I'm going to try and take from now 2 days off, at least probably 3, between lower body, and likewise 3 days between upper body workouts. The only other thing I would say is that recovery, there are several strands to this. Things like stretching and foam rolling are things which I previously didn't really do much of, but perhaps it's my age, being in my mid-30s, and things like shoulder pain, and things like patella tendon pain, elbow tendonitis are things that I need to actually think about, and sort of, rather than doing what's called rehab, you can do prehab, which is doing exercises which are meant to provide balance and stave off issues which you would otherwise be at risk of. So people often, for instance, strengthen their hamstrings using like light Romanian deadlifts or band curls if they're prone to hamstring strain. Some of you might have experience of that. Other elements of recovery, nutrition comes into this. If you're not eating enough, you simply won't recover. Remember the cycle of recover, repair, grow. Okay, if you're only eating enough to recover from your last workout and not really truly repair the muscle fibers or do a bit of growth, which is what we're aiming for, then you're going to quickly go downhill in terms of your performance. So those are the 5. 2 more slides. Let's talk about supplementation. I would say they're the cherry on the cake once you've got the basics down. I would add to what I've got on this slide, recovery and growth. So giving yourself time, rest days to actually grow. You need to make sure you've got these 5 things. You need to apply yourself. You need to ensure you're progressing. You need to keep a record. You should be eating properly, also known as enough. And you need to recover and grow. A common problem or worry people have, particularly if they're lean, is they don't eat enough because they are worried about losing their 6-pack. The fact is that if you want to gain strength and size, you need to eat enough, and there's no way you can build muscle without putting on fat. The best you can hope for, I would estimate, and again, I'm not an expert, is a kilogram of fat for every kilogram of muscle. That is absolute best case scenario, I would suggest. Losing fat is much easier than gaining muscle in the first place. So if you're willing to take the risk and put some fat on in order to gain any muscle at all, you can always lose it later. So I find particularly younger people, they are worried about putting on fat, but you can't put muscle on without putting a bit of fat on. Okay, so you might have to lose the 6-pack a little bit temporarily in order to build the muscle you want. If you've got these 5 things down, I would say these 2 things can be helpful. I've only just started using both because I'm not drinking alcohol. I've not done for 150 days and I'm going to continue. And I'm tracking my food and making sure I'm eating enough nutrients. So I do take whey protein actually during and after training, and sometimes at other points during the day, and I take casein before bed because that's slow release and feeds your muscles while you're asleep. Creatine, again, will only have a relatively small effect. It basically allows you to train a little bit harder without going into the details of it, but you need to make sure you're actually applying yourself without it, because you're not going to get any benefit from the creatine if you're not trying to push yourself when you're undertaking your sets. So there's a lot of fear-mongering around these supplements, particularly among people who don't train and haven't done research. They are safe if used correctly, but they can be misused like anything and can be an incredible waste of money. Finally, some online resources. 2 websites I quite like are Starting Strength, that's got a good introductory 5x5 strength training routine. Now, I've been talking about barbell training. All the things that I've said in this video are applicable to any kind of strength training, body weight training, dumbbell training, training with machines. Just because I happen to base my training around barbell lifts doesn't make any of what I've said any less applicable. T-Nation's another good site. Lots of good articles on strength training generally, powerlifting and bodybuilding. Good forum, lots of good tips that you can search for on injury prevention based on the experiences of others. YouTube channels, lots of good ones. Athlean-X is particularly good for body weight training, just body weight training ideas, and also the physiology of the barbell lifts and dumbbell training. Jeff Nippard and Alex Bromley are two YouTubers who have channels which are to do with barbell training, more serious focused training, but definitely worth checking out. I am intending to do some more of these videos. I'll probably talk about what I plan to do for 2020, and then perhaps do updates of my progress to see if what I'm doing is working. And also it might be quite fun to take some video of myself and then pick apart my form in the main lifts. That might be useful for people to see as well. Okay, thanks for listening. I hope that's been useful.